We're talking about
Did
the
you ask me a
Olympics,
question?
man. Yeah, no, we're talking about the Olympics and USA winning a lot of gold.
Yeah, we did do good, huh?
We
Overall,
did
right?
good. Yeah. My favorite part of the Olympics was the men's basketball. And I know you're not a big basketball fan, but going into it, it was touted as this is probably like the best USA basketball team as far as talent that we've seen since I want to say the 80s with Michael Jordan and the Mamba and all those guys. And so that's like really big to hold a comparison to. Like you're talking greatest of all time, and it did not disappoint. Like watching these guys who are like rivals, like play together. It
Oh
was
yeah.
like it was insane. It was phenomenal. And then of course, the shining moment for us Warrior fans. The last two games, our favorite guy, Stephen Curry, who's a Warrior, had not been doing a lot points wise the first several, like what, 4 games, 5 games, but he just put on, they call it a clinic. Those last two games, I mean, he did, what was it, 24 points and the final 2.5 minutes to win the gold. Like it was just phenomenal from 3 points over like 7 foot tall guys that are jumping it just up and over and in the basket. Like he couldn't miss. It was beautiful. And Curry, I mean, if he wasn't on my team, I'd probably dislike him because he has like these mannerisms that just kind of showboat. But when it's your team and you see the showboating, you really like don't care and you actually kind of appreciate it. So his favorite move is this like, at the end of the game, if it's like there's no way they're coming back, he like puts the other team to bed. He does this night thing, which is
Oh
super
yeah,
funny. And so then to watch all of his competitors who he's done that to, LeBron, Andrew Davis, all these guys doing it with him when it's been done to them, but now they're a part of that winning
yeah. That
equation.
joke.
It was
Yeah.
just phenomenal to watch. Like my heart was racing. It was so fun. It made me very happy.
Didn't one of the other countries did some like sign, right? Like I saw like a reel, and I think he one of the other countries did that same thing. And then
Yeah.
like they had like these clips of the team on the sidelines, like just like it was like such a disgrace for them to do that to the USA team, and then it just like really lit them up.
Yeah.
I can't recall which team it was. Some European team.
Well, thank God they did that because that just set Steph on fire. Like
Yeah,
there was literally no stopping him. Yeah.
maybe it wasn't the go to bed. There was like another sign being gestured.
It was Carmelo.
Oh, Carmelo. So he was a former player.
Yes.
And
he did this and it set them all off.
Yeah.
He did what
Yeah.
he do?
It's the three.
The three. Yeah.
He went like that.
3-pointer. Yeah. And
Right.
then Steph just took it and ran. I mean, there was literally nobody on the planet that could stop him. Not one
That's
person on the
something that
planet could
Steph
stop him.
Curry does, or
Steph Curry is the 3-point king. Like
so he
he's
does
set
that
every
sign?
possible record. No, so this other guy, a former USA player, Carmelo Anthony, was doing that to Steph, I guess.
No, it was to the Serbians at one point.
Oh, to the Serbians.
And that's why he did that as a disrespect, and that set them off. That's how come they won against Serbia.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a lot of USA representation over there that was pissing off the other teams on the floor and off the floor. I mean, Snoop Dogg was hilarious. Like Snoop made the Olympics. He was in everything. He's like sitting with, the top gymnasts' families in the stands. He was like, he's part of their family. Like he cracked me up. He was so all in with his crazy outfits and just living his freaking best life. It was so funny to watch.
Yeah, a lot of like sweatsuits, tracksuits,
Mm-hmm.
gold chains.
All of it. All of it. Yeah. And the other part, I mean, besides the USA and Steph Curry just dominating and what a team. Like to see your favorite players all playing together for a common purpose when they're normally against each other, it's just really cool to watch because they bring out the best in each other against everybody else. So that was very cool. And then my other favorite part about the Olympics was Simone Biles. Just That girl, like seeing what she came back from 4 years ago at her age, which is like considered very old for a gymnast, and to just dominate in every possible way was so awesome to see.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch more of the gymnastics just because yeah, it's pretty cool, having a little bit of gymnastics in my life,
Yeah.
makes me a little more invested in watching it, just like the rings and some of the names are still I'm still getting used to it all.
Mhm.
But
I mean, the control they have over their bodies and what they're able to do, how high
yeah,
they're able to go and twist their bodies around and land with like no jump or anything. Like and for the top gymnast, you got to be good at all those things. Kind of like the best CrossFitter. You can't just like really specialize in just the
mhm.
floor. Like you've got to be good at all those things and compete at just such a crazy level.
Yeah, I don't know how many. Yeah, because you can't have like specialists for each event. Like, yeah, they need to be like USA can only have so many athletes,
Yeah.
right? In
Yeah.
gymnastics. So they do need to be good at, they need to be able to
Yeah.
compete in every event, right? So
Every
there's only
event.
so many, there's like criteria for each country, right?
Yeah. Well, no, for every country is the same, but I think they can bring in like 5 people, but they
Five.
would use their top three for each event. Certain events they can only use like towards the end, they can only use their top two.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely like parameters to it. But the coolest part I thought was so, and I didn't know this before, so going into this, Simone Biles already had like 2 moves named after her. So in order to get like an event named after you, you have to perform it at a level like the Olympics or something big like that. And
Mhm.
you nail it, then you've named the move. It's now your move. It's now part of what
Mhm.
other people can do. And so going into this, she already had a couple moves named after her. And I think
Yeah.
leaving this, she had a few more named after her of just crazy moves that nobody else has ever done. She invented, she perfected it. She just came out like so strong. And now the events are named after her. I don't know if we'll ever see another gymnast like that, to be honest. It's insane.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
now you're making me want to dive in and watch it. Was there any particular event that you think I should watch? Or you think people should watch? Like,
Well, I would definitely watch the gold medal event of those all those particular ones, the bars, the balance beam, the floor routine. I would watch the gold on all of those.
Especially the one
mm,
where she jumps.
Yeah. And what was that?
That call.
Yeah. So yeah, and there's the one where you jump and then flip over the thing. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but I would definitely recommend all those. I would also recommend watching those last 2 games of USA basketball just because you're seeing true greatness of the most elite players we've ever seen probably in our lifetime, which is really cool. I know you don't like it, but it's beautiful. When Steph Curry is shooting, when you see them, it's almost beautiful, even though it's a very aggressive sport. But the way they play together, it's just there's nothing like that. Made me very proud to be an American, that's for sure. So glad these guys are our team, not other countries' teams.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll watch a little bit of that to see what you're talking about, see some of these 3 pointers,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
swishes.
Yeah. Some of the swimming is awesome, like when they're going down that track and it's like, it's like milliseconds, it's like a fingertip, like decides the winners. Those are fun to watch too.
Yeah, those like nail biters. They're all so close, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's like so close. Every race is so close, huh?
Yep.
Cool.
And another fun fact, Tom, is the women of Team USA won so many medals at the Olympics this year. If they were a country, they would have ranked third in the world.
Oh, just the women alone?
Just the women that competed in track and basketball and gymnastics, like swimming, all the sports, like women, and I mean biological women dominated in the USA Olympics. I mean, men did too. USA did in general, but yeah, yeah, it was a record year.
Oh yeah. That's awesome, yeah. With the CrossFit Games being on, and then
Mm.
the weightlifting events are like so long. They're like, 2 hours plus to watch just like one weight class, which I mean it's fine, but it's time consuming.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was,
I tried
and
to
I'm
watch the
watching it all.
weightlifting, but I'm like, I can't even get through this. Like, when are we gonna just
Yeah,
lift?
it's like what it's slow. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the announcers aren't the best. They're not bad, but I don't know, some of the stuff that they say doesn't seem quite right. Like they like try to comment on like the technique errors and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? And he was like, oh, a little too fast off the floor. That's like, he was like, that was like all he knew. The
Yeah.
announcer was like, that could possibly cause a mislift is like pulling too fast off the floor, which totally does. But the amount of times that he said it, I don't think it actually was the case for some of these mislifts.
That was just his
Yeah.
go-to. He's
I
like,
was
I'll
like, yeah,
sound real smart if I say this.
yeah, like I know one thing, and it's you go too fast off the floor, you're gonna miss the lift. Or you would just straight up say, I just looked a little too heavy for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just too heavy for him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Oh
well, yeah,
man.
clearly for him in that moment, it was too heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't make.
How did the USA do in the weightlifting?
So we got Hampton Morris. I'm pretty sure that's his name. He's like a smaller USA athlete got bronze, and then we
Okay.
had a woman, Olivia Reeves, get a gold medal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What lift did she do? Clean and
Uh,
jerk?
well, yeah. So for the Olympics, it's your total between
Okay.
snatch first,
Yeah.
and then you clean and jerk after.
Okay.
So, yeah. So her overall total um, won it. And I think
Heck
she
yeah.
set a world record for, I'm pretty sure she set a world record for the clean and jerk at that weight class. So, which
What do you
is
think? Like
crazy.
250, something like that?
No, more.
Really?
Yeah, more, way more than I can lift. It's crazy.
Holy shit.
The technique is just insane. Yeah.
Nice.
Let me see if I can find it just to get a number. Olivia. I'm pretty sure I follow her. Olivia Reeves,
145 kilograms. What is that?
Yeah,
Equal
145.
pounds. Kilograms.
yeah.
145 is 145 kg to pounds. Yeah, so 319.
Woo! Holy
Yeah,
crap.
yeah,
Holy,
319 pound clean and jerk
that's amazing.
at
That's amazing.
she's 71 kilograms, so she 156 pounds. That's what she
Oh
weighs.
my goodness.
So it's like over double body, or yeah, over double body weight.
That's amazing. Yeah, because 150 is
Yeah.
not that large for a woman, especially with that much muscle. I mean, she must just be all muscle. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
I watched that event. Was so there's this weird rule. It's called the press out, where if like the elbow bends, like you catch a weight, and then like the elbow like recoils or bends or gets soft at any point,
Yeah.
they call it a no lift, or it's called a
Um,
press out.
So you have to have
But like,
complete lockout. No, yeah. Which
yeah,
some people's like bodies aren't made that way. Like I watch people in CrossFit and they're like, I am locking out. I'm like, no, you're like bent. Like, but some people literally just can't do it.
yeah, and there are Olympic athletes that can't lock it out, and they have to designate when they start their lift to like the judges. They start and they point to each elbow,
Oh,
and then
wow.
like so they know like don't expect it to be like a perfect lockout, but they could still get a press out if their lockout's like here
Uh-huh.
and they go like that, and like it would be a press out. But if they hold that, then it's fine. That makes sense, right? Then it doesn't
Interesting.
have to be, it can be, yeah, so it's like an anatomy thing.
Yep.
But like the movement of the elbow, it's kind of like this weird aesthetic thing, like making it look pretty.
Right.
Like you
Well,
did the
because you got
lift,
to
you lifted
judge
the
it. You know,
weight,
if you're trying to
but
judge apple to apple to apple, if you have one that's like off, it's like, how do I judge that?
yeah, yeah, that's kind of my point in bringing it up was there was some weird calls, like
Mm-hmm.
so they'll do a lift, they'll complete it, and then they're looking for like 3 white lights at the bottom, right? And so that means there's like judges there that they have a little like box in front of them. It's like a red button and a white button. And then so if it's a good lift, they hit the white button. If it's not, or they see something, they'll hit a red light. And then sometimes if there's one red light, they'll let it slide, but other times they're like, oh, no, we better take a look at that. And then they go into like a jury review,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just literally just watching these elbows.
Wow.
Like that's
Yeah.
all they're looking at. So it's like, yeah, it's been this crazy thing, where it's like everyone hates it. They like want
Yeah.
them to do away with it because it's not just doesn't seem fair, like for someone to, like, yeah, lift the weight, successfully stabilize it overhead and hold it, show control, put it down, and then to have the lift taken away because
Yeah.
they had a little movement in the elbow, you
Yeah.
know, super strange. But yeah,
Yeah. I don't.
there was some robbery, it seemed like, and then
Mm,
an Italian guy who's like a very liked lifter, um, he had a very clear press out, and it was he got like 2 red lights or something, and the jury reviewed it, and then they ended up giving him the lift, and it was like, what? How did that like
yeah.
like if I would give myself I would like bow out and be like, yeah, that was a press out. It was
Yeah.
like exactly what you would think a press out would look like, like his shoulder got soft at his elbow and then he totally extended it and they gave it to him. So it was like
Little
very,
controversy.
oh yeah. And then there was I think Olivia Reeves also got the snatch world record too, but there was this Bulgarian woman who's like pretty famous in the weightlifting world. Her name's like super cool. It's like Laura Donna Toma. That's her name
Mm.
from Bulgaria. She's really savage, like has really cool technique and like super explosive and just a beast. And so she lifted the world record weight before Olivia Reeves and had
Mm.
a slight like elbow like recoil that was like just like that and got the lift taken away. So she literally like caught the lift, stood it up, and then they played it back over and over and took away her lift. So I felt a little bad for USA on that particular one. I was like, oh no, but anyways, Olivia Reeves she would have won anyways because her clean and jerk is just so much better.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
just those are some of the stuff I watched,
Yeah.
watching the
I saw something yesterday that one of our Olympic gymnasts, they took away her bronze after the fact. She won the bronze, Jordan Childs, who's super awesome, like all the USA girls, but they gave it to her, but then, she didn't get it, but then they were like, no, you should review that. She got it. And they're like, oh, you're right. And they gave it to her. But then after they reviewed it again, they're like, actually, maybe she didn't get it. So now they're trying to take the bronze away from her after they gave it to her. And the same thing over like, and so much of it is opinion. I mean, it should be black and white, but a lot of times it's just like perception of how each person sees it. So that's kind of messed up too. You don't give someone a bronze and then take it away.
Yeah, what event was that? Or it was just a
It was her.
It was her floor exercise. And I don't know if there was like a small discrepancy with like she did a more complicated trick and they weren't giving her credit for it. So then they were like, oh, you're right. That was a complicated trick. Let us give you more points. But then after they gave her the medal, some other team, and I want to say the Russians or somebody was like, wait a minute, that wasn't that trick. And then this committee looks at it and they're like, oh, you're right. Maybe it wasn't the trick. She should get back that bronze. So yeah, I mean, and it's crazy with the amount of technology that we have these days. There should be a level of certainty where this stuff isn't like happening. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. It should be. Well, then you would say like it is if it was a computer, like
Yeah.
doing it all,
Yeah.
then how would we feel?
In 4 years, we might be seeing some AI judging some shit. There might be some AI technology 4 years from now because of all these things that have come up. It might be a thing by then.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But overall, I was pretty I started getting into the Olympics, but then I was kind of opposed to it because of the boxing situation that really just like hurt my heart bad to see women being beat up by men like that. That was very difficult. I didn't want to support that. I couldn't watch it. I wanted no part of it. But I'm glad that I went and watched the basketball part of it because that was just I'm not going to say it makes that better because I don't think that makes it better whatsoever, but it was awesome to see our team and our country and everything. Like we literally witnessed history. Like I don't know if we'll ever see that kind of history again. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy to hear about the women's
Dude,
boxing Italian girl.
dude. I
Stuff
can't.
like
I can't even fathom how anybody justifies that being okay in any sense of the word, no matter how politically correct you feel you're being about things, socially just about things. Like I just don't know who in their mind says that that's okay. And we're okay with watching that. In fact, we're okay with giving medals to men who beat up women. Like we're cool with that.
Yeah, there's like more controversy surrounding that, isn't there? Like,
Tons. People are
like,
pissed.
well, not just like there's something up with that athlete, like in their genetics that has like got
Yeah, but there's
used
something
like
about
something
that.
like
But there's these Mennonites or Canaanites. I don't remember the exact word. And it's like, even though there's some biology that says this, they still have these hormones. So no matter how much they do this, they're still that. And so,
they're like a biological woman with like a strong amount of male traits or something like that, right?
something like that.
Well,
Yeah, like
they're
an
not like,
unnatural amount of testosterone, which makes them lean more towards being a male.
yeah,
Biologically, even though there's been, whatever. Again, I haven't looked too
there's
much
no
into it
like,
because it's like, who knows? Like, I don't trust media at all. So it's like, even if I were to do my quote unquote research, I don't know that I would believe what I saw or read. So that's
yeah,
why I've sort of steered clear of all that. That's for sure.
yeah,
But
there's some guy that I watch on YouTube did a deep dive on it, and I've been meaning to watch it. I think it's like an hour-long video going
oh,
over it.
wow.
It's a lot
That
of
is a deep dive.
does a lot of deep dives on stuff. And he's literally made he has a supplement company which sponsors like the some of the biggest bodybuilder influencers. It's called Gorilla Mind. And so
Mhm.
yeah, he's been on Joe Rogan, the guy behind it. I don't no one knows his last name, or I'm sure people know his last name, but he doesn't go by his last name. He goes by Derek at More Plates, More Dates. That's what
Nice. Good for him.
he just keeps he's just still holding that handle.
Yeah, good
After,
for him.
yeah, I don't know. And but yeah, he did a deep dive on it. I was curious to see what he thinks.
Hmm.
And just to have a little more background on it because I remember thinking, oh wow, I can't believe it. This is you know, just clearly a transgender person punched this girl in the face, and it was like a lot of controversy, and it, didn't seem fair. Then I went to the barber shop and found out, it wasn't that. There's a little more to it than that, with like chromosomes and things like that. So I'm like, yeah, like how confusing can this be? You know?
Apparently, it's as confusing as it gets. That's why
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a controversy, right? And like why I guess the Olympics felt okay with letting that person go through and compete against women, I guess. I mean, I'd like to think there's maybe some legitimate scientific reason, but I just don't think that's the case. And then that's even sadder that we would permit something like that and be okay with it.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
just look at the Olympics with the weightlifting. The women are lifting twice as much as their body weight, and the men are lifting over 3 times their body weight. So that should just
tell you
like
right there.
says a lot about,
It
yeah,
says a lot. It says a lot. Yeah. Biology matters. Yeah, it matters.
yeah, it's pretty clear on paper there.
Yeah. Wow. 3 times as much. So then like a guy, let's say clean and jerk, 600 something pounds.
I mean, close to it, yeah,
Holy crap.
yeah,
That's amazing. That's amazing.
it's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane,
Yeah.
especially the smaller guys. Smaller guys, they're doing incredible feats.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
But do you almost feel like smaller guys have an advantage? Like I think of Matt Frazier, Rich Froning. They're not tall guys. They're all sort of more like compact individuals, like in CrossFit at least, and they're the top. Nobody could beat them. Like being tall, I don't feel like it's a benefit for lifting or CrossFit.
Yeah,
Oh, lower center of gravity. Yeah, that makes sense. Certain things like obviously like rowing and shit like that, they could be better at because they have longer limbs. But then the other stuff, it probably uh yeah, their center of gravity is smaller or shorter, so it makes it
they're
easier
definitely
for them, maybe.
lifting more weight per like the ratio of body weight. So that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like just because I'm taller doesn't mean my bones are like thicker, more dense,
No.
right? So I'm just longer, so I think that, I don't know, like speaks to like how much, like your bones structure, your structurally, if you're like, yeah, thicker, you're able to hold more weight.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
denser.
and
I,
less
I
distance
don't
you have
know.
to travel, less distance you have to like bring the bar
Oh
up,
yeah.
less distance, all those things.
I'm thinking about it in terms of strength specifically. I haven't really thought about this, but when it comes to CrossFit, it's very clear, like if you have an event with squats, you have to do 50 squats for time and your range of motion is shorter, than like a guy that's like over 6 foot, and you have someone that's short, like I don't know, 5'6" or whatever, right? They're
Yeah.
basically going to complete their squats faster because their range of motion is shorter. It's very obvious.
Just
Uh,
like women's gymnastics, right? You look at them, they're all very short. Like Simone Biles is like 4'10" or something. Like she is so short. So always with gymnastics, the shorter women always win, or they're better, or they're just more compact, or that center of gravity is just lower. So I
yeah,
think shortness minus swimming, I think that's a good one for taller people because again, when they had the women and men competing, it's like, look, no woman is going to beat a man. They're like a foot taller. Like just, even if they were athletically 100% comparable, that extra foot is always going to put them a foot ahead of the woman. So certain sports are more, I think, better for taller people, but definitely gymnastics and weightlifting, I think shorter people kind of
yeah,
dominate.
tend to do better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure how the guy who is like considered the best weightlifter in the world
How tall he is?
right now. Well, Carlos Nazar, Carlos Nazar height is 5'11", so that's pretty tall.
Yeah, that's a decent height.
Yeah, 5'11".
Yeah.
But in the case of like the CrossFit Games this year, the guy who won was actually tall for once. So it was like crazy.
What
And Brett
what country was
Fikowski,
that guy from?
he's from the USA.
Oh, he
Uh,
was? USA won that?
I'm talking about
Mm,
CrossFit, so the CrossFit
yeah, I
Game.
know. Oh, I
He was
meant, yeah,
there's no team.
USA.
Yeah,
Well,
but he
no, but
was,
he's from the USA. I mean, last year it was a Canadian that won. So this year it was an American, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. What happened to Justin Medeiros? Did he place at all?
Uh, yeah, he didn't do good. No,
Interesting.
he did not do
Interesting.
good. Yeah, so the guy who got first place, James Sprague, trying to see his height. Where is it? I think he's 6'2". I think he's 6'2" actually. So he's like my height, which is
Well,
like it
that's
just
inspiring for
changes.
you.
Yeah, well, no, it's cool because it just shows like the programming really makes a big difference on who wins, you know.
Right.
Right.
Depending on the events.
The events, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of squatting. It was a lot of running and
I feel
the
like
taller you run,
rope climbs very much favor tall people. I mean,
so a
I
little bit
watched
of
some
rope
people on
climbs.
those ropes and they can like jump up half the rope just because they're tall. Whereas
Yeah.
a shorter person would have to take like all those measures to get up it. Like a tall person can just jump up and they're already halfway there.
Yeah, it's very true. But the kind of a funny thing with that was in the CrossFit Games this year, there was people that were purposefully not jumping super high because it's considered to be too fatiguing. They were like
Mm.
saving that jump to put that energy from that jump to put into something else, in the event. So they would like it was
Hmm.
strange. I mean, I saw several athletes do this, although like they also are on a squishy pad, and so you can't
Mm-hmm.
really get a good jump off of a squishy pad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
I
But
do.
they were also the announcers were saying why they weren't, jumping super high, and it made sense. But
Makes sense. I just don't know if I agree with it. I'm sure there's probably some metrics that support that decision, which I haven't seen, but it makes sense, I guess, ish.
to save the energy to not jump. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think about like you could jump up like halfway up the rope. For me to get there, I'm going to have to do 3 climbs at least, like inchworming up to where your jump is. So for me, that's not saving energy if you can just jump.
Yeah. I think it's just
They probably
a
have much better
longer,
technique than I do, though.
yeah, a longer event, and they're super efficient.
Yeah.
They're just figuring out, where can I save energy? And I can tell you, those big jumps on the rope, they get taxing around. I mean, after you do like 10 of them,
Yeah.
like those super high jumps spike your heart rate. And you have all that
Interesting.
tension. You like spike your heart rate and then you're holding onto the rope. And so it's like, I don't know, unnecessary maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still do it unless I haven't been in too many workouts where I need to like, think about how that jump's gonna play into fatigue over the maybe something to try. But yeah, James Sprague,
Mm.
USA athlete won. It was such a nail biter.
Was it? Damn. I feel
The last event was there was so much shuffle that happened on the leaderboard just in that final event.
that's
Uh,
good. That makes it exciting because I mean, watching Tia's, it's not boring. She's an amazing athlete, but there's nobody that's even close to her. So it's cool to hear that the men's was pretty competitive. That's good. That's fun.
yeah, no one was close. Yeah, she crushed it.
Yeah,
Tia
I don't
crushed
know.
it again.
Anybody can dethrone her. It's going to be like a Matt Frazier thing. She's just going to have to retire for anyone to be able to beat her.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't, no mention of retiring this year.
Why would she? She just had a kid
Uh,
like 7 months ago and she's already winning again. Like, why would she quit now? Like literally what could derail her?
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, she's
Well,
dominant. She's
the
badass.
the controversy was not last year, but the year before, they were saying like she was going to retire, right? And
Ah,
like the announcers were saying it like this, like something like Tia Toomey's retiring after this. And then she kind of was, and then had a video saying like, I'm not going to retire, you know, and like didn't feel like she ended it on her own terms. It was like just buzz and controversy, like if she was going to retire. And so yeah, now there was no mention of her retiring. There probably like firm message delivered, like do not say anything about Tia retiring, you know.
I know. It's just kind of disheartening for women because there's nobody. I mean, unless somebody comes up that is not in it yet, I don't see anybody being able to take her out. She's just the most complete, well-rounded CrossFit athlete, which, you know, again, it's like us talking about the Olympics. She has to be good at so many things, not just specialized in one thing. There has to be this broad range, and nobody's rivaled her whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a beast. She's the GOAT for
She is the goat.
7, I think now. Yeah, 7 wins and 40 CrossFit game event wins. That's what they
Amazing.
said. 40 event wins.
Yeah, amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah.